Okay, the title of your notes will be section 3.20, graphing rational numbers. Rational numbers. Section 3.20, graphing rational numbers. So we've been looking at the coordinate plane, getting very good at plotting and graphing our integers. Today we're going to be plotting our rational numbers. We know that a rational number, we need to know what a rational number is. A rational number is any number written as a ratio. Written as a ratio. And then just go and underline ratio, because we know that, for example, when we look at ratios, ratios would include 4 and 5 tenths, 2 and 325 thousandths, and even a negative 4/7. These are all ratios. All ratios. All examples of ratios. Okay? Now, we also need to know your x coordinates. Your x coordinates. Okay, your x coordinates move. We know they move left to right. Left to right. And then we'll just add in your arrows left to right. All right, that's your x. Then we also know your y coordinates. Your y coordinates move. We know these move up and down. Move up and down. Your y moves up and down. We'll just put a little y next to that. So your x coordinates move left and right, and your y coordinates move up and down. So we know that, for example, if we wanted to plot, say, negative 2 and 2 5 tenths, we know that when we make our coordinate plane, we always start by labeling your x and y. So label your x, label your y. Here's your quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So we know that these are your 4 quadrants. Okay, then we just add in our tick marks. 1, 2, 3. That's a positive 3, negative 1, 2, negative 3. 1, 2, positive 3, negative 1, 2, negative 3. All right, so our tick marks are in. Now we go to start at your origin and go to a negative 2, negative 1, 2. Positive 2.5 is 1, 2. 2.5 is right in between 2 and 3. So we just write our plot, negative 2, negative 2 5 tenths. And you know your answer is Q2. Q2, that point, that pair lies. That's it. So there are 3 simple steps to graph rational numbers, RNs, rational numbers. So there's 3 simple steps, and we've seen most of these steps, but there are 3 simple steps to graph rational numbers. Graph rational numbers. Step 1 is label, pair with x, y, and arrows. All right, so you'll label your coordinate pair with x, y, and arrows. And then step 2 is to create your coordinate plane with your axes, quads, quadrants, and tick marks. And ticks. And you can just write quads and ticks. You know what that means. And lastly, your third step is find x. Find x. Then y, and plot. Find x, then y, then plot. So step 1, label your pair with x, y, and arrows. Step 2 is create coordinate pair with axes, quads, and ticks. And your step 3 is find x, then y, then plot. That's it. Let's see what this looks like. Step 1 on number 1, I'll try to keep those steps in there so you can see those, is plot 3 and 5 tenths and negative 2. All right. So step 1 is just label your pair with x, y, and arrows. So we know this is your x, this is your y, and left or right is a positive 3 and 5/10. Well, that's to the right. And once you get to that y, we know as you go negative, you go down. So just go ahead and put your arrows in. Step 1's done. Step 2 is create your coordinate plane. So create that coordinate plane. Okay? Create that coordinate plane. And with your axes, x, here's your y, q1, q2, q3, and q4. Okay? So now we just have to add in our tick marks. We're only going up to about 3.5, 4, so we'll just go up by 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, 2, 3, negative 4, positive 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, 2, 3, negative 4. Okay? So go ahead and plot 3.5. We know we're going to the right, 1, 2, 3.5, and we're going to go down to negative 2, 1, 2. That's it. Go ahead and plot. And your point is 3.5, negative 2, and your answer is quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 is your answer. That's it. Let's see another one. Number 2 is plot negative 1, negative 4, and 25/100. All right. So step 1 is just label your pair with arrows and your x and y. We know this is your x, that's your y. And then to negative 1, your x, we're going to go to the left. And you have a negative 4 and 25/100. You will go down. That's going down. Going down. Just like an elevator. All right, so just go ahead and draw out your coordinate plane. Draw out your coordinate plane. All right, and then plug in your x. There's your x. Here's your y. Q1, Q2, Q3, and here's Q4. So now that your step 2 is done, just add in your tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. Okay? So now, step 3 is find x and y, then plot. Your x is negative 1, and then you go down negative 1, 2, 3, 4.25. Go ahead and plot that, and that is negative 1, negative 4, and 25/100. So once you plot that, you should be able to see that in which quadrant is that in? It's in quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is your answer. That's it. Hey, thank you. Quadrant 3 is your answer. Let's try another one. Number 3 is, take a look at number 3. Number 3 is plot negative 1 and 5/10 and negative 2 and 5/10. All right, so step 1 is just to label your pair with x, y, and arrows. Here's your x. Here's your y. Since we're going to the left here, just draw your arrow to the left. And here's another negative. We're going down. Okay? So, step 2 is just create your coordinate plane. Just create that nice straight coordinate plane and your horizontal. And then just go ahead and label your axes. Here's your x. Here's your y. Here's Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. All right, so just add in your tick marks. We're only going about 1.5, 2.5, 1, 2, 3 should be plenty. Negative 1, 2, negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, 2, negative 3. Okay? So step 3 is just find x and y, then plot. Your x, negative 1.5 is negative 1, and 5/10 is right in the middle. And then negative 2 and 5/10, negative 1, 2, you go down. Another half, and plot. So just rewrite your ordered pair, negative 1.5, negative 2.5, and your answer is, well, which quadrant does that plot lie in? Quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is your answer. That's it. Quadrant 3 is your answer. Let's try another one. Number 4 is plot 4, ordered pair 4 and 1/4 and 2. All right. So step 1 just says label pair with x, y, and your arrows. 4 1/4, that's a positive. We're going to go to the right. And a positive 2, we're going to go up. We're going up to the sky. All right, so just draw out step 2 is your coordinate plane. Add in your coordinate plane. All right, and then just plug in your X, your Y, and your quadrants. Q1, 2, 3, quadrant 4. All right, and then we're only going up 4 1/4, so 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be plenty. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's negative 5. There it is. All right. Now, step 2 is done. Step 3 is just find X and Y, then plot. So we go to the right 4 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1/4 is closer to 4 than 5, and then up to 1, 2. And plot. Go ahead and label your ordered pair 4 1/4 and 2. So your answer is which quadrant? Quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 is your answer. That's it. Quadrant 1 is your answer. So when you're looking at this, having your arrows, your X, your Y, and your quadrants all labeled will help you get to the right answer. I'm going to try numbers 5, 6, and 7 on your own. I'm going to try numbers 5, 6, and 7 on your own. Number 5 is, let's see here, plot negative 3 1/2 and 5. Number 6 is plot 1 1/2 and 3 1/2. And skip a couple lines for number 7. Number 7 is going to be plot negative 5 75 hundredths and negative 2 25 hundredths for your Y. Go ahead and try numbers 5, 6, and 7 on your own.